Let's go to the quarterbacks, and quite a few big ones on the bye. Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, very notable. Aaron Rodgers and Michael Penix in deeper leagues or super flex leagues, which means you might be looking for a streamer this week, and that pivots us to Jaxson Dart, who won his first NFL regular season start, really on his legs. 54 rushing yards, that rushing touchdown on his first drive of the game. Brian Dable spoke on Jaxson Dart's debut.
He made some really, really good plays on some scramble plays and loose plays and kept the offense in really good, favorable situations for most of the night. As good as we've had all year relative to just playing on time, first down, second and short. But again, there was a lot of things we need to clean up with him, and that's what we're doing right now. I'm sure he'll be the first to say that. But, I was very pleased with the command that he had, the decisions that he made.
Yeah, it was a good debut. It was a good debut. It was an encouraging debut. That was the word I used on our date yesterday with Jay. An encouraging debut, right? He finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback last week. He's still available in about 77% of leagues. He is a QB1 the rest of the way. Like, if I'm in a QB needy league, if I need a quarterback, like if I went into the season thinking like I was going to, Trevor Lawrence or whatever, or Joe Burrow, and I've been sort of trying to piece it together, like, I think Jaxson Dart is a top 12 fantasy quarterback the rest of the way. I prefer him to Daniel Jones, who's like the other big sort of free agent quarterback that's emerged so far this year.
You agree with that?
Well, the thing with Daniel Jones is that I think there's going to be a bigger gap between his real-life NFL value and his fantasy value than any other player in the sport. I think Daniel Jones would be a much better quarterback. The issue with Daniel Jones, yeah, that's right too. The issue with Daniel Jones is that he's just not running the ball as much, which I think they want to keep him healthy and upright. And also, the weird thing with the Colts as well, a big possible appeal of Daniel Jones was that he was going to get these tush-push sneaks at the goal line. There's 3 guys who get carries at the 1 for the Colts, and they play 3 different positions. There's a quarterback, a tight end, and a running back who are all getting those. So, I think it's close. I think the issue is that his schedule is going to get brutal after they play my Saints. My Saints, by the way, favored in an NFL game in the year 2025, just narrowly. But after that, it's Philadelphia at Denver at Philadelphia. But he's going to be in throw scripts, or at least he's going to be in drop-back scripts where he can run the ball.
That's the thing. I agree with you. I think if I was starting an NFL franchise for this year, you'd rather Daniel Jones than Jaxson Dart. I think long-term, actually, Dart has some real upside as an NFL franchise quarterback. But fantasy-wise, this is what I talk about. He is going to run. And honestly, I'm not worried about, just like we saw Justin Fields last night, I'm not worried about him playing the Eagles, the Broncos. Will he be running for his life? Yeah, probably. Will that turn into fantasy points? 100%. Jaxson Dart is a top 12 fantasy quarterback the rest of the season. It's not always going to be pretty. A lot of it's going to be in junk time. But fantasy points count all the same. And so Dart certainly has a nice matchup with New Orleans this week. Saints have allowed the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks.
One more just because he meets our threshold. Matthew Stafford is 57% available. They have the short week against the Niners on Thursday Night Football. So worth checking. Unlikely, but worth checking.
Yeah, 3 straight games with multiple touchdown passes. Puka and Adams both healthy, both looking awesome. Again, he doesn't run, so there's a ceiling there. He needs the kind of game he had this week where he's throwing, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, that kind of thing. But that's within the range of outcomes for him any given week because it is such a narrow offense that likes to throw the ball. He's got 2 elite wide receivers. He's as good a quarterback as there is in the NFL from a skill standpoint. Matthew Stafford can make all the throws. He's a veteran quarterback. So, you could do worse than Matthew Stafford.
All right, the top quarterback targets, just to quickly recap here, Jaxson Dart and Matthew Stafford, but the deeper league targets include Tua Tagovailoa. They have the Panthers Week 5, and as Jay pointed out, there's some signs of life from Mike McDaniel's offense, at least in recent weeks, and that might be matchup dependent, but that's not changing this week against the Panthers. And then how about Sam Darnold there, Matthew, who's been really good when they actually let Sam throw the ball?
Second in yards per pass attempt this season. He's had 3 straight games with at least 15 fantasy points. Is there a ceiling there? Not really, but it seems there's a decent floor. Darnold has played well. And then finally, I'll just mention Marcus Mariota. It's worth holding on to him until we know for sure that Jaden Daniels is back. We just don't know. We thought he'd be back last week. He wasn't. The expectation is... Yeah, the expectation is that he will return this week for Washington on the road to the Chargers, but we just don't know yet. So I would hold on to Mariota at least until we know for sure that Daniels is definitely back this week. By the way, Carolina bottom 2 in the NFL in terms of pressure rate, Tua's going to have a clean pocket.
Yeah, he needs it.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.